Hey guys, what's up? It's Jordan and welcome back to my channel. So about a couple weeks ago, I watched a documentary called Cowspiracy. And if you've never watched this documentary before, it's on Netflix and I highly encourage you to watch it. It is so freaking good. It's good, but it makes you feel like shit. So after watching that documentary, I decided to give it a try and go vegan for a couple weeks. And the main reason I did this, if you watch the documentary, it essentially shows what a huge impact that agriculture has on the environment. So everything else that you could do combined, all of the turning off the lights, trying to save water, taking short showers, all that stuff makes such a minuscule difference compared to what you could do if you stopped eating meat. So this is one of the main reasons that I went ahead and decided to go vegan. Also, I've just heard numerous amounts of people talk about how it's changed their life, how it's made them feel like they had more energy, just overall healthier, it's helped them lose weight. So I decided, why not give it a try? I was not so much thinking about the animals, and I know that's gonna sound bad, and I did think about all of the horrific ways in which we do raise normal commercial beef and chicken and things like that. And prior to this, I was only eating organic and grass-fed animals being raised in humane ways rather than being mass-produced. They actually had space and they were eating the right things and they were just healthier. So my problem morally was not eating the animals themselves. I think that it's the circle of life. Animals eat other animals all the time out in nature. I'm totally okay with that. But for me, the hardest thing to think about was regular commercially grown animals, because it's honestly horrific and it's disgusting, and I never wanted to think about eating that. So the reason behind me going vegan was definitely more revolved around the environmental side of things rather than eating meat itself. I personally am from Wisconsin. I love my steak, I love my cheese, I'm all about the animal products. But after seeing that it takes like over 100 gallons of water to make one cheeseburger, and how every single second an acre of the rainforest is being deforested for agricultural purposes, I just had to see if I could at least do it. So my first impressions, even before I actually cooked a meal, I was actually pretty excited. I love to cook myself, so I was kind of stoked to see what I could do with this whole vegan thing. So naturally, I immediately hopped on Pinterest, looked up all the meatless and vegan meals that I could find, and I went 100%. I used no animal products whatsoever. So initially, I was just really stoked to see all the creative ways that I can make this work for myself as a major food lover. One of my biggest concerns by far, as are most people's concerns with all this, is getting the proper amount of protein. I know that a lot of people out there are gonna claim that you can live off of 35, 45 grams of protein per day, but personally, I wanna get more protein than that. I'm striving to build up my muscle mass and strength, and I really just would like to be able to get as much protein as my body can get. So I was super worried on how the heck I'm gonna get all this protein, especially because I don't eat soy. I really don't like to have any soy in any of my products, and if there is soy, it's a really small amount. I just don't like the high estrogen content. It can just do a lot of things to the body when taken in excess amounts. So I had to be a little bit more creative with my protein sources, but honestly, it was much easier than I thought it was going to be to get all of your protein in. When you have such a wide variety of foods and grains and vegetable sources, if you just combine that all together, you will find it's actually much simpler than you thought to get that protein content in. Another thing I noticed right off the bat was that I had such an increase of energy, and I was really shocked by this because I was afraid that I was gonna find myself getting dizzy or maybe lethargic, just not having enough nutrients. As my misperceptions of it all, but I had a ton of energy and I was really able to get my sleep schedule on track. I felt like my circadian rhythms, as weird as that sounds, were just working so harmoniously together, and I just woke up feeling really alert and ready to start the day. And after every single meal, I felt so satisfied, like my body was just like craving all the things that I was putting in it, because when you are working to get those protein sources in, you're already going to be including a variety of foods, and in order to pack that flavor into there, because sometimes veggies and things like that don't have the most flavor, you want to incorporate all these different onions and garlics and herbs and peppers and things like that to make that food really, really good. So I just feel like I got so many nutrients in every single meal that I had that I never felt like these cravings. Like my cravings almost were gone. It was really awesome. Like my sugar cravings and things like that definitely decreased after eating just a couple days of these meals. Now, there are definitely some downsides and some things that you're gonna have to work around if you decide to make this choice. These are the things that I found to be the hardest. Trust me, I was really nervous going into this because I was a huge fan of meat, especially things like steak and beef. But with a vegan diet, you have to be creative. You do have to know how to cook and to know how to be creative with your foods. That, or you can go on Pinterest and then add some of your own things, because I don't know about you, I like a little more than just salt and pepper on my food. You know what I'm saying? And if you're a salt and pepper kind of gal, do your thing. But I am not, so I had to find ways to make this food really good for myself so that I didn't get bored and sick of eating the same exact things. And I also didn't want to just eat all these freaking carbohydrates. Like, I didn't want to just go ham on my rice and pasta and things like that, because that's not good for you either. So you do have to be creative when planning your meals. You do have to cook. That, or there are a lot of things out there that will actually send you boxes of all the ingredients that you'll need to like make a vegan dinner, or some places even have pre-made vegan dinners for you that you can buy. Now these can be expensive, so you do have to have the money for that, otherwise you're going to be in the kitchen, you're going to be cooking. The second downside, and this may not be a downside for you, I guess it depends on how you look at it, because essentially you're going to have to eat larger portions of your food. Like what you could get calorie and protein and fat wise from about this much of an animal product, you're gonna probably have to eat about this much of whatever vegan meal that you're having. Now, if you love food, if you love to eat, this is gonna be really awesome for you. But if you're someone who has a hard time eating bigger meals, I would just suggest splitting those up into a lot of meals. But you have to make sure that you're eating enough, because those portions are gonna be bigger. And in turn, that means you're gonna have to buy more of these ingredients from the store. And the last downside, if you fall into this group of people, is that you have to love veggies in order to be vegan. You have to love all different kinds of veggies, because it's gonna be really hard for you to get the nutrients and the protein content that you need, unless you're okay with just eating the same couple foods every day. It's probably gonna be a little bit harder for you to get all the tasty foods and dishes. As far as cost of everything, because I know that a lot of people are gonna say and have said that being vegan is much more expensive than going and buying animal products. But after doing a couple shopping trips without buying any animal products, I actually find that it's like the same, if not even less than what you would pay eating animal products. Animal products are really freaking expensive, and a can of beans is $1. So you have to buy more ingredients because you have to have bigger portions, but in the end, each individual item is gonna be a lot cheaper than that individual animal product item, especially if you're going grass-fed and organic and things like that. Those meat prices skyrocket. So I actually saved money a lot of the times shopping this way. Now I have a few suggestions for you guys if you do want to go ahead and give the vegan life a try. Number one is to always buy organic, or buy organic as often as you possibly can, because especially if we're eating a lot of carb sources and things like that, you do not want to be eating refined carbs that have loads of sugar and artificial ingredients in them. This is likely going to cause you to gain weight, which is not the goal that we want going vegan. My second tip is to use lots and lots of seasonings in your food. Go out and buy yourself some garlic, some pepper, some cayenne, some onion powder, Italian seasoning, kosher salt, and whatever else your heart desires. But seriously, season your food. You're gonna have a much more enjoyable experiencing switching from meat, which has a lot of flavor naturally in its own, to veggies, which need a little bit of a boost to get those flavors going. As far as when you're choosing your meals, go ahead and pick like your favorite 5 dishes and see what you can do to make those dishes vegan while still including an adequate amount of protein and fat and things like that in your diet. But what I found was that it was really easy to just think of something I always loved to make with meat, like burgers or something like that, and turn it into a vegan meal. So veggies, burgers, chickpeas, lentils, quinoa, things like that can all be mixed to sort of create a meat-like texture. And if you season it how you would normally season your meat, it can taste really, really similar and leave you feeling more than satisfied. The next suggestion that I have for you guys is to mix it up as often as you can. Include a variety of vegetables and carb sources and beans and seeds and nuts and whatever else you can throw into whatever you're making. The more variety that you get in there, the better, the more satisfied you're gonna be feeling, and the more fun that you're gonna have with each of the dishes that you make. And a really huge tip for making sure that you're getting all of your protein in these meals is to go ahead and add multiple different protein sources to whatever you're making. So add black beans, add lentils, add quinoa, add garbanzo beans, all to the same dish. And then each of those added together is gonna give you at least 20 grams of protein every time if you do it like that, or even 18, which is plenty for one serving of food. And the last tip that I have for you guys is to make sure that you're not overindulging in carb sources. It can be really, really tempting because carbs are extremely filling to just eat like pasta all day, every day. It's vegan, but it's not necessarily, especially if you're not buying it organic, going to be the most healthy for you. And if that's the majority of your diet, you're gonna start seeing negative effects from it. So, in conclusion, I really, really, really enjoyed going vegan, and every single grocery trip that I've had since, which has been like 2 now, since I ended my little 2-week tester, I have bought only vegan foods. I'm honestly loving every single second of it. I'm loving the energy it's giving me. I'm loving that it's just slashing away any excess fat that I had on my body. It's really, really leaning me out. You can see all of my muscles way more defined now since the couple weeks that I've been on this vegan diet. I don't feel sluggish throughout the day. I feel like I just have tons of energy, and the food is really freaking good. I just feel like I'm including a lot more nutrients in my diet. Now, I'm not saying that I'm completely banning meat and butter and eggs and all animal products like that. But again, after watching that documentary, I really heavily want to reduce my consumption of these items. So I'm gonna try my best to not buy animal products, but if I'm invited to a barbecue with the family or something, you know your girl's gonna have some ribs. Okay, so that's pretty much all I have for you guys today. Let me know if you found this video helpful. Go ahead and comment down below if you gave this a try yourself, and I will see you guys in the next video.